Hello everyone, this is Gary from Fantastic Fundas, and today in this lecture I am going to talk to you about all the important revolutionary nationalists you have been hearing all this while from various people, and especially in the history. For example, if I'm going to talk about going to talk about Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev Thapar, and so on. Anyway, so before I talk about any one of those, I would like to give you, as always, a brief background of the beginning of the revolutionary nationalism. In fact, we have done that earlier in the first part of the revolutionary nationalism. But what happens now is that we know that NCM failed, and last lecture we talked about that is the brief background. Now a little more detail. For example, it was revolutionary nationalism was very severely suppressed during the World War One by the Britishers. And what happened that most of the leaders at this time, because of this World War One, either they were in jail or they were absconding because of the fear of arrest and so on. Now, to create a harmonious atmosphere, now British also wanted peace in the country because peace was in their favor. So they wanted to bring those Montfort reform, Montagu-Chelmsford report. I've already discussed that with you. Now, Montagu-Chelmsford, most of them people, all these revolution nationalists, they were released under the general amnesty in 1920. And now, then soon after, Gandhi begins with his NCM, and other like C.R. Das, and everyone supports Gandhi is NCM, including revolutionary nationalism, because they felt that something is going to happen. But then Gandhi withdraws the NCM because of the Chauri Chaura incident, and then after this, people are really distressed, or their hopes are befallen, so they think of doing something. But they young people even questioned the strategy of these nationalist leadership, and they even they reverted to violence, and they started doing violence. Now, revolutionary terrorists, they were not attracted by the suffragist idea that came around 1922-23, right? And they were not, nor they were enough patient, or they did not have enough patience or drama, they could not do the work of the no changers. No changers. So on. So they were not really focused on those ideas. They could not really think of working like that. So in this background, lot of important nationalist leaders came on just to introduce these names to you, because you people generally people are aware, or not you, I'm specifically talking about in general, that people have heard of Bhagat Singh, or so, and people hardly know about Rajguru, Sukhdev. So just to give you introduction to these names, for there was important leader like there was Yogesh, you can call it Yogesh, Yogesh Chandra Chatterjee. Then Surya Sen was there. Surya Sen. Then Jatin Das was there. Okay, so just a small list of the names to help you better understand. Chandrasekhar Azad, everyone knows. Bhagat Singh knows. Sukhdev Thapar. Sukhdev Thapar. Oh, his great grandson was my classmate. Sukhdev Thapar. Anyway, then there is Shiv Varma was there. Okay, he was a great fighter. And Bhagwati Charan Vohra, I have earlier also talked about him. And then there is another important leader called Jaidev Kapoor. Now, all of them, all these people, they were part of the non-violent NCM also, but NCM disappointed them. That is why they think that non-violence is not going to work, and they revert towards the violence. Now, two strands of the nationalist movement will happen. Okay, two strands, दो धाराएं बहेंगी, right? दो धाराएं क्या हैं? What are the two waves or two flow streams of one is in the Punjab, UP and Bihar, that is the northern India, and then toward the eastern India, main movement is in the Bengal. So these are the main areas. I was just, while preparing this lecture, I was thinking why the movement really did not spread to south. So let me just, I'll give you a few points, and you can always add in the comment section that why revolutionary nationalism was not really pitched in South India. Before I tell you why it was not pitched in South India, I will give you very short thing about how it was there. You see, in South India, the first the violent they never took a firm root. Okay, and the first assassination was of the collector of the Tirunelveli. Tirunelveli's collector was assassinated, and that was in 1911 only. His name was Robert Ashe. Robert Ashe. Ashe. And the person who assassinated him, his name was Vanchi Iyer. Now, this is the only recorded assassination in pursuance of the revolutionary nationalism in South India, right? And this person, Vanshi Iyer, this person committed suicide later on. So there are many reasons actually why this movement really did not spread to South India. Probably, South India had more of a princely states area than the British Empire. Why? Because see, Hyderabad was huge. There is Travancore and so on. So one reason is this, right? And number two is that all the movement, all the movement that happened, and the British base was based in Kolkata, and because of this thing, movement basically spread to Bengal. So that was another thing, right? And then number three is the in Punjab it fell. The one of the primary reason is that the contact of the Bengalis with these people. And the second reason is that the migration, because the people who were living outside India, they were mainly people from Punjab, Haryana, this region, and especially to US, Canada, and Germany. So all these people were basically from this belt only. So it remained in North India. This is for another reason that this movement really did not spread to the South India at the revolutionary nationalism. And so probably these are the reasons. I really could not find much on books, and all this is like my own conclusion. Okay, you can always add on in the comment section if any one of you have read it, or if anyone has a history optional, I would be thankful for that. Now you can just point wise, you can detail in the comment section that what were the reasons that the movement did not spread to South India, apart from the reasons that I have already listed. Right now, coming back to the North India and the East India, the revolutionary terrorists, they were impacted. Okay, I have done two areas I have told you, right? And number two is they were impacted by two kind of forces. They were impacted under the effect of two forces. One was the upsurge of working class trade unionism. Okay, in last lecture also I gave you a little mention of the trade unionism. And number two was the impact of the Russian Revolution and the success of the young socialist state in consolidating itself. You see what is happening, that the new groups are coming up with the emphasis on Marxism, socialism, proletariat. All these words were getting popular at that time. And then there were a few journals also who helped the spread of the revolutionary nationalism. For example, there was Atma Shakti, and then there was Sarathi. I've already discussed the names and everything about all these people. Maybe one or two I have not. Okay, anyway. So Bijoli was there, and they were all there. These were the generals, and there were novels and books also spreading the ideas. For example, there was a Bandi Jeevan. Oh, Bandi Jeevan. Now, this book was the Bible of the revolutionary nationalists at that time. And there was also Pathar Dabi. I've already discussed this in one of the earlier lectures. In fact, this Pathar Dabi, it was written by Sharat Chandra Chatterjee. I hope you remember this name, Sharat Chandra Chatterjee. And Bandi Jeevan was by Sachindranath Sanyal, right? And it serves as a textbook for the revolutionary terrorists. That's how it was going on. Anyway, so coming back to the movement now, I said it's in two areas. Now let's start with the northern area. Okay, so we are going to talk about the northern revolutionary terrorists, or the revolutionary nationalists, as you want to call them, you may. The first to emerge, out of the mood of frustration under the, because there was a lot of frustration, because there was NCM and there was withdrawal of NCM, and then there was frustration. So a few people came out of the frustration, and one of the important name was Ram Prasad Bismil, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee. These were the important names who came. Okay, out of the frustration. Now, don't you think, don't get confused that I'm taking about Bengali names here. See, essentially, I'm going to talk about northern movement, northern revolution, terrorism. But then, when I talk about northern, it was highly overwhelmed by these people from Bengal, right? So that is why I will be again and again mentioning to this. The northern revolutionary nationalist movement is essentially happening with the cooperation of the people from Bengal, right? Now, Bengalis, you must be feeling very proud of this. Anyway, so what happened is the Pathar Dabi that I mentioned to you. Pathar Dabi actually is a novel, and it was written by Sharat Chandra Chatterjee, and the Pathar Dabi means the right of way. Okay, the right of way. Now, in October 1924, something brilliant happens at this time, right? And that is, there is formation of Hindustan Republic Association. In last lecture I gave you a formula to remember these names. What are those names? Sachin Tendulkar, Narendra Modi and Saurav Ganguly. Okay, so what is this? Sachin Tendulkar is Sachinder Nath Sanyal, Narendra Mohan Sen, and Saurav Ganguly is Pratul Ganguly. Pratul Ganguly. At least you will be able to recognize one of the surnames or the main name, first name. Then you will able to be tick mark the right answer in your prelim exam. That is how it will help you. Okay. Now they wanted to replace India by the Federal Republic of the United States of India. That is how they wanted to do it. Now for armed struggle, okay, so they wanted to make that. I told you in the last lecture only, the Federal Republic of the United States of India. Why we do not call India as the United States of India? Okay, why is USI is only Unistyle Image? It's a fashion brand. Anyway, so why is it not called Unistyle India? What I'm saying, the United States of India. That I have discussed in the polity lecture. You can always refer to that. Coming back to this, so they said that for they can do armed struggle in India. This is what their theory was, right? Armed struggle. Now, armed struggle, for this propaganda had to be carried out. Only then people will fight with you. So you had to do propaganda, and to do propaganda, you need what? You need money and men. See, always two things are needed to put forward any movement. One is money, and other is men. By men I do not mean men by sex. You know what I mean is that men over here includes women also, right? With due respect, right? Anyway, so men were to be recruited, and not just recruited, okay, and you need they had to be trained, and then they have to be armed with weapons. So of course we need men and money at this time, and all this was required. And for money, what they did Kakori kebab. No, they did Kakori robbery. I hope you have seen Rang De Basanti movie. All of you must be very well aware of this Kakori robbery out since that movie. Let's talk about Kakori robbery over here first, okay? Kakori robbery. Okay, I'm just writing it over here. Kakori robbery. What happens that it happened on? I remember the date actually. 10th August 1925. Yes, 10th August 1925, because it was just 5 days before independence. I mean 15 August. So 10th August 1925, and 10th August ko hi there were 10 men only, and they held the train whose name was 8 down. 8 down, okay, at a place called Kakori. This place is near Lucknow railway station, okay. Basic idea of this doing Kakori robbery was of Ram Prasad Bismal. He was the main person leading at this movement, and they looted the cash in it. You can very easily to remember it, recall the scenes of Rang De Basanti movie. Now, obviously when there is such a big robbery happening, there is a government reaction. So what kind of reaction from the government? I'll talk about that. Government reaction. Let's talk about it. So what government reacted? They arrested all the leaders, and their people were tried in what is known as the Kakori conspiracy case. Fine. And now, who were the main people who were arrested, and a lot of they were hung also. So people who were given fancy, okay, people who were given death penalty at this time because of Kakori, they were Ashfaqulla Khan, very modern name. Number 2 is Ram Prasad Bismal. You can easily think of that Rang De Basanti movie, right? Number 3 was at this time was Roshan Singh, and number 4 was Rajendra Lahiri. So these people were hanged by the Britishers. And just please remember their names: Ashfaqulla Khan, Ram Prasad Bismal, Roshan Singh, and Rajendra Lahiri. Lahiri. Rajendra Lahiri, they were hanged. And there were few people who were sent to Andaman, and who were given life imprisonment. So such things were there. Okay, Ram Prasad Bismal. Oh, he is the same person who popularized this thing. What is it called? Sarfaroshi ki tamanna ab hamare dil mein hai was popularized by this person only. Okay, Ram Prasad Bismal, right? Sarfaroshi ki tamanna. I'll write it here. Sarfaroshi ki tamanna. So it was Ram Prasad Sarfaroshi ki tamanna. So this was written by Ram Prasad Bismil, right? In fact, it was not written by him. Sarfaroshi Ki Tamanna, he was the person who popularized it. It was, this Sarfaroshi Ki Tamanna was written by Bismil Azimabadi, okay? Bismil Azimabadi. Now look at this, the contribution of the Muslims. You see, ideally you should not be looking at this thing from this perspective that there's a Muslim doing it or Hindu doing it. But please understand, the Muslims were involved in the freedom movement of India. Muslim community is an integral part of Indian society. And these fools, so many who are wandering in our country, who keep on saying Muslims are not part, such people, they don't deserve to stay in India. Anyway, but please note that out of all these people, there was one very important person who Britishers could not arrest, okay? And this person, he was actually the master of hiding away. His name is Chandrasekhar Azad. Shekhar Azad. Now this person is not arrested by the Britishers. He's not, actually they are unable to find him. Now this was a huge setback for the Britishers, right? And after this, what happens? This is the formation of HRA, okay? And there's a British arrest, and then all these people, this movement over here, it essentially comes under the influence of the what is called as the socialism, okay? Socialism. They come under influence of the socialism. So the movement, then the name of the movement is changed into HSRA. We'll talk about that in just a little while. So all these people, now Chandrasekhar Azad is already out, okay? Now Chandrasekhar Azad is out, so he forms a group. A new group has to be formed. So people like Bhagwati Charan Vohra, and also people from northern India, about whom I'm talking over here in this heading, Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev Thapar, okay, Sukhdev Thapar and Rajguru, all these people, they get together. Not Rajguru probably joined later. He wasn't exactly joining here, right? There was rather a Batukeshwar Dutt, okay, Batukeshwar Dutt. Now all these people, they got together under the they reorganized HR, Hindustan Republic Association, okay, and overall under the overall leadership of the Chandrasekhar Azad. And then on these people got together in September 1928. You don't have to remember the month, I'm just mentioning it for better understanding only. So they got together in September 1928, and they met at Firozshah Kotla ground, okay, where these days cricket matches are held. So they at that time there was not like, it wasn't a cricket stadium. So for Firozshah Kotla ground, these people met over there, and they agreed to create a new collective leadership. Okay, and if you see any Bhagat Singh movie, even in those movies they try to show Firozshah Kotla by showing some other ground that they have gathered over there together. Especially in the old Bhagat Singh movie of 1956 or probably 66, one of those old black and white movies, they show this Firozshah Kotla ground. Okay, anyway, so they say that so they knew under the new collective leadership. Now they say that our new aim is the socialism. It is not just any other thing. So it's about socialism is the official goal, and they changed the name of their party from HRA, Hindustan Republic Association, to HSRA. They add socialism to it. They say it is Hindustan Socialist Republic Association, basically to overcome this setback, Kakori setback. Okay, and the manifesto of this Hindustan Socialist Republic Association, it was called as the philosophy of the bomb. Actually, what had the philosophy of bomb? Okay, anyway, let's leave that. So philosophy of bomb, it was written by Bhagwati Charan Vohra. And Gandhi had been very critical of the revolutionary terrorists because of their violent means through his magazine Young India. And these people have been critical of Gandhi through their philosophy of bomb. So there was some sort of accusation against each other. But overall, in spite of their differences, so many differences, whenever there was a need, these people, Gandhi and all these, whether they were revolutionary nationalism, they might be disagreeing with each other, but they had mutual respect toward each other, because ultimately they understood it well that both of them were fighting for one purpose, and that is for India, our India. Okay, their India. Anyway, so individual heroism and violence, it wasn't being followed at this time. HSRA is there. So individual heroism, okay, and violence that has dropped down after the Kakori robbery case, and because there was so much of death penalties given by the Britishers, right? But now, right, something really bad happens at this time, and that was the death of Lala Lajpat Rai ji. And Bhagat Singh had a great regard for Lala Lajpat Rai in spite of their differences on some communal ideas. But Bhagat Singh, Lala Lajpat Rai was almost like a guru to Bhagat Singh, okay? And he was a teacher, you know. No, of course, I'm not talking about a religious guru, right? So in this background, actually, what had happened, the Simon Commission had come to India. We'll talk about the Simon Commission in the next lecture, but for now, just remember that Simon Commission is in India, and Lala Lajpat Rai is saying he's opposing it, right? And while he's opposing, he's leading the movement, and while he's leading the movement, somebody hits Lalaji on his head, and Lalaji dies there, okay? And then there he utters those words, right? If you remember, every blow of lathi on my head would be a nail in the coffin of Britishers, if you remember those great words of Lalaji. And you know, when this was happening on 30th October 1928, okay? And individual assassination, everyone was very, very angry on the death of Lalaji. People loved Lalaji, even though there was some communal element, but even in spite of that, there was a lot of respect for him, for his great work. And there was lot of individual assassination starting at this time. And Lalaji was known as there has been a question in paper also, who is known as the Sher-e Punjab. And Sher-e Punjab is the Lala Lajpat Rai ji is known as Sher-e Punjab. And then on 17th December 1928, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Chandrasekhar Azad, and also there are other few people like Jai Gopal, okay, and then of course there is Sukhdev Thapar, okay. So these people, right, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev Thapar, Chandrasekhar Azad, Jai Gopal, all these people, they assassinated a person called Saunders. Okay, there have been movies made in Punjabi language on this, many in Bollywood also. So they assassinated this Saunders. He was a police official who was involved in the murder of Lathi charge of Lala Lajpat Rai. Okay, at that time, actually, to be truth, they wanted to kill somebody else actually. Okay, at this time, some other head of the police, and Saunders was killed. But Saunders was also involved in death of Lala Lajpat Rai. Anyway. Now HSRA now wanted people to know, HSRA, they wanted people to know that what are they standing for, what are their objectives, and they also wanted to make Britishers know what they are doing and their activities. They are not violent people. They wanted to tell the people. If you go and read Bhagat Singh's Why I Am an Atheist, that brilliant piece, brilliant. Please do read it before you attempt your mains exam. At least read it once, okay. That's one. In that he talks about what is violence and what is non-violence. Okay, now the objective of the British, they wanted to tell everyone about this and the need of the revolution by the masses. So Britishers were also realizing the Bhagat Singh and revolutionary terrorism. Everyone is realizing the need for the revolution by the masses. This is similarly the basic thing that even Gandhi is doing. Okay, they wanted to awaken the masses. Gandhi also wanted to awaken the masses, and Bhagat Singh and the Rajguru and Chandrasekhar Azad and all these people, they also want to do the same thing, and that is the awaken the masses. And because they know that only through the masses this is possible. But see, not everyone would be ready for violence, and that is where the weakness of the revolutionary nationalism comes. Gandhi is a very clever person. He understands that how to deal with masses. So for this objective, HSRA does one act, okay. And what is this one act? Bhagat Singh, there were two people, okay, Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt, these two people. Please, remember these two names. Don't be communal in remembering your freedom fighters. Don't remember Batukeshwar Dutt because he was a Hindu, or Bhagat Singh because, so for some people, for he was a Sikh later on, though Bhagat Singh gave up all the religion also, right? Anyway, so these people, okay, please remember them together. That is what I'm urging you. Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt, they threw a bomb. Where? In the Central Legislative Assembly, which has been very poorly shown in so many movies. Anyway, so they threw a bomb in Central Legislative Assemblies in April 1929, and because they were against the passage of the public safety bill. This public safety bill came to curb communism, number one, and number two, they were against the trade dispute bill, which wanted to curb the rights and the liberties of the people. So the trade dispute bill and the public safety bill, to against this, they threw the bomb. Now please remember that this bomb was not a harmful bomb. It was just an explosion, and there were pamphlets they threw, and they said that, at times, to make dumb people here, you have to explode the bombs, and it was not at all harmful to any person, because there were no sharp edged things in this bomb, right? To make the deaf hear, they said this bomb was exploded. And you see, objective there, when they threw this, they didn't run away from the place. In fact, their objective, after throwing the bomb, was to get arrested. They wanted to make people aware about that, and they used court trials. If you see the movie, that how they would come to the court and singing for propaganda, so that people would become familiar with their movement and ideology. Okay, so they would come to court singing like songs, that Sarfaroshi Ki Tamanna and Mera Rang De Basanti Chola, and all those songs they would come singing, and they would, get their dialogues, and in the court trial, through court trials, they would educate the masses, because, as I told you, they wanted to create a mass movement now. So they would educate the masses about the need of the mass movement in India. Okay, and then after this, they would, what happened, then they were jailed. Okay, and once they were jailed, in jail, they demanded honorable and decent treatment. They wanted the rights of a prisoner, and in fact, they also did their hunger strikes against the British. Hunger strikes, and they won the heart and sympathy of the people all over the country. See, Bhagat Singh and Rajguru and Sukhdev, all these people, they had support all across the country. They refused to eat. People did not go to school as usual. Children never want to go to school, so they always miss it or carry on daily work. They just, when they heard of the hanging in the March 1931, and while they were doing their hunger strikes over here, on the 64th day, a very important person who was there, Jatin Das, he died at this time. He died on 13 September 1930. There's so much of violence committed against these people by the Britishers at that time, right? So, and finally, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev Thapar, they were hung on 23rd March 1931 under Lahore conspiracy case. The name of the case can be asked in paper. It is known as the Lahore conspiracy case. And the defense of these people were, you see, Congress though did not support violence, but the defense of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev, it was supported by the Congress leaders. Okay, so the defense was organized by Congress. This is very important aspect to know, because so many times there is an accusation that Congress of that time did not support Bhagat Singh. And just for some extra information, I'll quote you the letter that these three people, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, wrote to the superintendent of jail. They said, "Very soon the final battle will begin. Its outcome will be decisive. We took part in the struggle, and we are proud of having done so." And Bhagat Singh, he wrote a lot of letters. For example, he was just 23 at that age, just 23 years old. He affirmed his faith in socialism. He wrote that the peasants have to liberate themselves not only from the yoke of the Britisher, but also from the yoke of the landlords and the landlord and capitalist. So that was his idea. And in his last message, the last thing that he wrote, that was written on 3rd March 1931, he declared that the struggle in India would continue as long as a handful of exploiters go on exploiting the labor of the common people. As long as there's exploitation of the labor of the common people, it matters little whether these exploiters are purely British or British and Indians in alliance, or even purely Indians. So I leave it to you. You should think for yourself what is happening in India today. Bhagat Singh, he defined socialism in a very scientific manner. In a very scientific manner, and for him it meant the abolition of capitalism and class domination. He made it clear much before 1930 before he was arrested even, that he had abandoned revolutionary terrorism. Okay, he had abandoned the policy of terrorism. And in his last political statement, which was political statement that he wrote was on 2nd February 1931, he said that apparently, please listen to it very carefully, apparently I have acted like a terrorist, but I am not a terrorist. Let me announce that with all the strength at my command that I am not a terrorist and I never was, except perhaps in the beginning of my revolutionary career. This is what Bhagat Singh had to say, and I'm convinced that we cannot gain anything through those methods. So Bhagat Singh said this thing, that that violent methods are not going to work. This is what he clearly said at that time. Okay, now some people can interpret this same thing in different manner. This is what I feel, and I've read at various places also, and this is what as a point of common sense appeals to me also. Anyway, right, so this was about Bhagat. Okay, let me just talk a little more about Bhagat Singh. Okay, Bhagat Singh, let's talk about him. Very interesting personality, very inspiring. His ideas are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He was born in 1907, and he was a nephew of the very famous revolutionary. His name is Ajit Singh, and Ajit Singh was a Gadarite. Okay, so Bhagat Singh was also inspired by him, and he this Ajit Singh, he used to write for Bharat Mata and Bande Mataram. He would write articles in those Bharat Mata and Bande Mataram. Okay, so Ajit Singh was very active, and he was very follower of Ajit Singh. And Bhagat Singh was a voracious reader. Okay, voracious reader. Had Bhagat Singh given IAS ka paper this time, he would have cleared in one go. He was so intelligent. Okay, now he was one of the most well reader of his times. In fact, the jokes apart, he used to study. He in fact he was called a mobile library, and he used to study at a library, the name of which is the Dwarka Das Library. Dwarka Das Library. Where is this library? It's in Lahore. And he would study about socialism, about Soviet Union, and he would study about the revolutionary movements over there. And he organized few study circles. These days, just like you are organizing study circles, okay, even this YouTube study that we are doing, isn't it just a sort of a study circle only? Then he would always carry books. That this he did with the help of Sukhdev Thapar over at the study circle. Anyway, now when HSRA was formed, he shifted HSRA to Agra, and he also carried all his books with him. Okay, and he would, whenever he would move, he would carry books in his pockets, in his hand always. He would give it to his fellow comrades. He would ask them to study and read more and understand more. And after his arrest, actually jail turned into a sort of a university after his arrest. That was so much the idea. And the philosophy of the bomb, which I earlier talked, written by Bhagwati Charan Vora, it was written at the instance of Azad and after full discussion with him. Now, Bhagat Singh abandoned his belief in terrorism and individual action that I told you before his arrest. He turned to Marxism. Right? He believed that the revolution had to be by the masses. This is he started believing in, and he knew that revolution had to be for the masses. So somewhere both are doing the same, whether it is Gandhi or the Bhagat Singh. Okay, don't be fanatic about it. Please try to understand history in a very rational manner. Right, anyway, so and then hence he finally understanding this, he helps to establish what is known as the Punjab Naujawan, okay, Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha, Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha. What and Bhagat Singh became its first secretary. This was actually set up in 1926. Okay, Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha, and Bhagat Singh was the first secretary of this. And two of the rules of Sabha, which were drafted by Bhagat Singh only. Okay, there were two rules of the this Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha. It would have nothing to do with the communal bodies or other parties to which disseminate the communal ideas. Okay, number one, that he was very much against the communal ideas. And whenever if you think you are a group because you are a Hindu or you are a Sikh or you are a Muslim, whatever you are, that's the communal idea, and Bhagat Singh was against it, number one. And number two, he said that we will create a general spirit of toleration among the people, considering religion as a matter of personal belief and to act upon the same fully. He said that do not mix religion with politics. This is what Bhagat Singh said. He said that it is a matter of personal belief of man and act upon we should act upon the same fully. That is what two rules of the Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha were set at that time. Okay, and Bhagat Singh, he would deliver lecture. He would do slideshows using his magic laltens. Okay, and then he explained the meaning of a revolution. What is a revolution? What is a revolution? Do you know what is revolution? If you know, try to sum it up in the comment section. I would love to read your ideas, spread your ideas about what do you think is a revolution to the world. It To Bhagat Singh, it meant the development and organization of the mass movement of the exploited and the suppressed section of society. So mass movement, who will be part of that? The exploited section and the suppressed section. All these people would come together of the society by the revolutionary intelligentsia. Okay, so all the intelligentsia, they would organize this, and then in the course of their statements from 1921, 1929, 31, the basically this is he was talking about. Okay, inside and outside the courts, to him revolution was an independent, a social, economic, political thing. He defined socialism in a scientific manner, as I said. You see, it for him it was to demolish the colonial structure. Okay, for Bhagat Singh, the revolution, demolish the what do you call this, colonial structure, demolish colonial structure. Right now, he also defined socialism. Like, for example, for him, socialism was abolition of capitalism and class domination. I said earlier also, he wanted to uproot that that state apparatus administration which is in the hand of privileged classes. He was aware of the dangers of communalism. Okay, and that is why he wrote "Why I Am an Atheist." Okay, Bhagat Singh believed in freedom of personal belief, communal harmony. He said that revolutionary must not only be courageous but also must possess faculty of independent thinking and a critical understanding. For example, whatever your religion is, okay, please try to understand it critically, question it. If you find answer, then follow it. So he was a socialist also, in the term that he brought change in the society. And he must have ability to criticize old ideas, thereby looking forward to new challenges. You must criticize old ideas, sati pratha, okay, caste system, and many modern ideas. I will not like to name them because many people get offended. All the religions have them. Okay, but then that is the Bhagat Singh's idea. Okay, and then finally, there's also a question: was Bhagat Singh a terrorist? Was Bhagat Singh a terrorist? I'll answer this question at the end of the lecture. Let's finish the rest of the part of the lecture before that. Okay, so we are going to talk about the revolutionary movement at this time in Bengal now. First part also had Bengalis in it, but this is purely in Bengal. And when I say this, I mean by Chittagong Armory. Now, I hope you have seen the movie Khele Hum Ji Jaan Se. Movie was not a big hit, but then it's a very, very nice movie. You must watch this movie to better appreciate the contribution of the Bengali revolutionary nationalists, especially Surya Sen and all those people of that region. Okay, now. Now, some of the revolutionary terrorists which were working within the Congress, they had the mass support of Congress with them. Okay, so some people who were part of Congress, they also were supporting the revolutionary terrorists, and at this time, this is related to Bengal, right? Now, they cooperated with C.R. Das and his Swarajist work after his death. Because the Congress leadership after his death had got divided. C.R. Das was a very prominent leader. We have talked about him. Right from the Khilafat movement, and then after when he died, the movement in Bengal, it got divided. The leadership got divided, and so what happens that S.C. Bose, okay, S.C. Bose, and there's another group which one was under S.C. Bose, other was under J.M. Sen Gupta. Okay, J.M. Sen Gupta. Now, S.C. Bose joined Yugantar, and J.M. Sen Gupta, it's not J.S., it is M. J.M. Sen Gupta, he joined Anushilan. Now, meanwhile, and in Bengal only, you see what is the whole leadership has divided. One is by under leadership S.C. Bose, under other is J.M. Sen Gupta, who is joining Anushilan, and S.C. Bose is joining Yugantar. Now, there is an attack at this time on a person called Charles Taggart. he was a police commissioner of Calcutta, a police commissioner of Calcutta, and it was in 1924 that Gopinath Saha had attacked this person in 1924. But when he was attacking Charles Tegard, rather than killing Charles Tegard, by mistake he killed another person whose name was Day, Day, right? And and in this thing, many people, Gopinath Saha and other people, including SC Bose, they were arrested. Okay, now after their arrest, so there was so this way, these are the initial activities happening in Bengal. But eventually what started happening, these two groups, okay, they had a sort of rivalry between them. One is this Yugantar group over here, okay, I'll just highlight this group, this Yugantar group over here, and the other is this Anushilan group. Even they were having bickerings and quarrels between them, right? Personal quarrels were there. So few of the people, they separated from Yugantar also. They said, okay, fine, you keep on fighting, we don't give damn about you. So some people from Yugantar and some people from Anushilan, they came together, and they came together and formed a group which was under the leadership of the Surya Sen. That is how it was. Okay, people from Yugantar, Anushilan come together. Some because they were fed up with the mutual quarrels, and they come together under the leadership of Surya Sen. And this was also known as the Chittagong group. Okay, Chittagong group. Now, Surya Sen had also this. We'll talk about now Surya Sen and so a few more details about him. So, Surya Sen. To tell you about Surya Sen, this person, he had participated in non-cooperation movement also earlier. Okay, and he was a teacher in school. Okay, now if you have seen the movie Ghelem Ji Jaan Se by Abhishek Bachchan, it will be easier for you to understand the whole character. They beautifully depicted the character of Surya Sen in that. So very well played role by him actually. So Surya Sen, he was a teacher, right? And he was the teacher there in Chittagong only. Okay, some nationalist school was there, and he was a very, very sincere person, and he was very soft spoken. Okay, and in that movie also you feel that through his acting, right? Anyway, he was also a brilliant organizer. That is the one quality that all the leaders of the world have. They are brilliant organizers, right? And then he would often say this dialogue in the movie also, that humanism is a special virtue of revolutionary. So this can be in your paper also. They'll give you this quotation: humanism is special virtue of revolutionary. You see, others also said same things on the similar lines, but then this is the specific quotation given by Surya Sen. You have to remember this, and you can always quote this in your essay or other examinations also. Very simple quote, that humanism is a special virtue of a revolutionary. Now, Surya Sen had, as I told you, people from Yugantar and people from the other group, Anushilan group, they joined Surya Sen. So Surya Sen had many followers of his, and one of his important followers is a group which I like to call as Agile people, Agile, Agile group. It's not a name of group, I just to remember it, just a mnemonic. Okay, Agile. A is Anant Singh, and then there was Ganesh Ghosh. Okay, Ganesh Ghosh. You see what happens, that through this mnemonics you might not be even able to recall the names, but you can be sure whether these people were there with in your preliminary exam, for a multiple choice question exam, whether these people were not there or they were there. So, and the third person is Lokinath Ball. Lokinath, Lokenath, Lokinath Ball. So these were the main people. And now, so you see, we seen the okay. I was talking to, my purpose of starting this particular this lecture about Bengal was that I wanted to talk to you that how this is being formed. What is called as the Chittagong group. Okay, Chittagong group. So there is a rivalry, and there are people involved. We get to know how the people have come. We have got to know the names of the people, right? Now, the institution has been formed, and now is the action time. And what kind of action do they take? We'll talk about that. First action they do is they loot the armory. You see, you always need men and money. Men have been arranged. This is men have been arranged over here. Now you need money also. So here, they gonna loot armory. Armory is weapon, because through money you ultimately going to buy weapons only. And now it's a beautiful scene depicted in the movie. Now, for what do? They go, they do the planning, and they destroy the telephone wire and the telegraph system, so that there is no communication possible between the Britishers. They do it in a very planned manner, and they even dislocated the railway communication, so that Chittagong is cut from the whole of the Bengal. And then in April 1930, this final day, six revolutionaries, okay, under Ganesh Ghosh, right, under his leadership, they capture the police armory. And what happens that when they capture police armory, they picked up, there were Lewis guns lying over there. They pick up those guns, Lewis guns, and there were also .303 rifles. And they could not find the ammunition over there. But because what had happened, the Britishers were very clever. They knew there is a risk. So what they had done, the policemen would sleep with the ammunition under their beds. And these people over there, the guns over there, they were in a different department. They found the gun, but they were not able to find the ammunition, and that is where the whole problem lies. And police attack these people over there. These people stand over there in the right of the that place where they did this loot, and they even raised the flag of independent India, and they gave a salute to it also. Everything was as if freedom had been achieved. Oh, I mean, do you feel it that the freedom there has been achieved? But the police, because the British are very powerful again. Now British cannot be defeated by revolution like this. Why? Because if you talk about violence, British can do much more violence, because they have men and money with them. We do not have so much of men and money with us. So it is for sure that they cannot be defeated. But anyway, this was a great action. It really awakened the conscience of the people around, right? So what happened after this? After they hosting the national flag and taking the military salute, and they even proclaimed what is called as the provisional revolutionary government. Provisional revolutionary government. Look at the name only, provisional revolutionary government. So we're getting at the idea of it. And they would call the name of their party, the group was Indian Republican Army Chittagong branch. That was their name, Indian Republican Army Chittagong branch. And then they run away, and police keeps on hunting for all these people. And they all of these people, after action, what happens after action? Okay, let me just put it there only. Okay, so here is the action has happened. Okay, we've talked about the action, right? So what happens after action is that they run away, and they had to run away. And where do they run? Because British were hunting them literally, so they had to run. And where they were running away is they ran away in the area of Jalalabad Hills. And several thousands of Britishers surrounded the Jalalabad hills from all the sides, and 12 revolutionary RTs are killed, and 80 British soldiers die at this time. This is massive thing happening, okay? And this is happening in 1930 April. You see what is happening on 6th April. On the one side there is a civil disobedience movement going on, and here revolutionary terrorism movement is going on. The Britishers were surrounded from all sides. That is why I always say that the freedom of India is a contribution of these RTs also, and the extremist approach also of the Mahatma Gandhi, or the Gandhian approach. Let's not call it even extremist approach. Now, they were dispersed to this surrounding village, and mostly you see when all these people ran away, when they were running away, what had happened? They dispersed. And where did they disperse? They dispersed in this area which was predominantly occupied by the Muslims. But Muslims gave all these people great support. They opened their homes to hide these people. But eventually Britishers searched each home, and so many of them are killed. And finally, it was finally Surya Singh keeps on running for 3 years almost, and it is on the 16th February 1933 that Surya Singh is arrested. And he's hanged on 12th January 1934. Okay, so 1934 is hanged. The contribution of Surya Sen was in no way less than that of the Rajguru Sukhdev or Bhagat Singh. Please remember this thing. Their fire, they have dispersed. The whole incidences happened. Okay, I have explained you the whole thing that had happened in this. This is the whole incidence over here that has happened. Okay, now let's talk about what happens after this. What is the next thing that happens? The next thing is we'll see what was the outcome of this movement. Okay, as always, you have to follow this in a structured manner. Now, what is the outcome of this movement at this time of the Surya Sen and all his revolutionaries of the Indian Republic Army Chittagong branch? It was that they fired the imagination of the people that that people we can also do something, and it is because of this only that in 1930 it witnessed a major revival of RT activity, revolutionary terrorist activity, and whose momentum, this momentum was carried right into 1931 and 1932. So the decade, this period of 1929 to 1932, this specifically was period of great activity of our freedom movement. This can be questioned in your paper also, that what was so special about this period. Now village after village were burned to capture these people, but Muslims supported India. You see, Muslims fought as shoulder to shoulder with their Hindu brothers in their war for freedom. And not only this, you see, even I should not have missed it, and that is that women contributed a great deal in this. Women. What was the contribution of women in this Chittagong activity? What was that? There are so many of them. There was also question in paper, the contribution of women. It was very simple question. You had to recall any person, Mahatma Gandhi's wife, and write just few names out under working order. Surya Sen, your answer would have been complete. Such simple questions being asked in UPSC. What was the name? It was Preeti Lata Vadedar. Preeti Lata Vadedar. Okay, and she died while conducting a raid. Number 2 was Kalpana Dutt or Kalpana Joshi. Both are the same person. Okay, Kalpana, and she was arrested and she was given life imprisonment. Okay, she died and life imprisonment. And then number 3 is there were 2 school girls who shot the district magistrate, and their name was Shanti Ghosh and Suniti Chaudhary. UPSC has asked this question in mains examination also, so you have to remember this. Pretty simple name and such an interesting story of your own country. Why not remember them? This is the least you can do. Preeti Lata Vadedar, Kalpana Dutt Joshi, Shanti Ghosh. This is Shanti Ghosh, okay, and Suniti Chaudhary. It's very simple, right? And then there was another lady whose name is Bina 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 Das. She fired point blank, एकदम माथे पर गोली रख के मारी उसके at the governor while receiving her degree at the convocation. You see, you have to understand the importance of this action, because you cannot really imagine आपकी state का कोई governor है and वो he's in some degree delivery function and at the convocation, and what happens that somebody comes with a gun and shoots him point blank range. Can you imagine the thing that would have created, the atmosphere that would have created? That was the contribution of Bina Das. And then there was Shanti Ghosh, Suniti Chaudhary, Kalpana Dutt, Preeti Lata Vadedar. All these names have been, some of them at least have been asked in prelim examination, and all of them have been asked in mains examination. The actor, the action, overall, if I have to review this, now Bhagat Singh did some action, but at that time, okay. So what you see, what happens? Earlier there was RT, then came the era of Bhagat Singh and all, Chandrasekhar Azad, right? And they were secluded actions. But what was so special about the Chittagong armory, attack, it was that this particular action, it was a group action, and this is the best thing that could have happened at this time. This is what even Bhagat Singh wanted to do, and the mass action which he really was not able to do. It was an advancement over the earlier idea. Advancement over the earlier idea. The Bengal revolutionary terrorists, they shed even the religious thing, because they were not taking their religious oaths, to which some Muslims were not liking it, right? And Muslims were not excluded. A lot of Muslims, of course, they were contributing at Chittagong. Otherwise, also in their IRA, the Indian Republican Army Chittagong branch had also Muslims. For example, there was Tunumia. expect a question on this sometime soon. Tonu Mia, and there was also Mir Ahmed, because UPSC these days is asking in lot many other examinations the obscure names. So this can be in your paper, Tunu Mia and Mir Ahmed. Okay. So we see overall what is happening at this time, that the philosophy is changing. Okay, the philosophy of the people is changing, and what has happened, that for example the HRA manifesto, which was in 1925, asking for abolition of all the systems which make the exploitation of man by man possible. So abolition of all kind of exploitation was their target, and HRA. See, you see the changing philosophy over here, and then came the HSRI, and HRA's main organ, actually I remember it was the revolutionary. The revolutionary was their main organ. They even proposed the under this nationalization, okay, nationalization of railway, of the transportation, and then nationalization of the large scale industry, and also the formation of the labor organizations, such thing. All those socialist ideas were there. And Bismil even asked people to give up arms. Okay, this is very important. Bismil Khan, he asked people to give up arms and work for Hindu Muslim unity. So this was a great focus of these great leaders, right? So that was like the thing. Finally, coming to the last thing, which I wanted to talk to you, as I said earlier also, is that was Bhagat Singh a terrorist? Was Bhagat Singh a terrorist? I asked this question in the middle of the lecture somewhere. Now I'll try to answer this question to you, okay? Because Bhagat Singh himself said this thing, that apparently I have acted like a terrorist. Now I'm quoting from NCRT only, and this is what Bhagat Singh said, that apparently I have acted like a terrorist, but I am not a terrorist. I never was, except in the beginning of my revolutionary career. So he says that, Bhagat Singh himself says that in the beginning of his revolutionary career, he had acted as a terrorist. So there was actually a lot of dispute also once in Rajasthan state exam, probably, about this. They were called terrorists that ways. Okay, and he said, now next line, what Bhagat Singh said is of great importance to us, and if you want to really learn something from the history. He said that, I'm convinced that nothing can be achieved by those methods. Nothing. What do you mean by nothing can be achieved by violence? You see, Bhagat Singh was opposing violence in all its forms over here. He also understood this, that masses cannot fight with so much of violence. But question arises then, why did he was resorting to the heroic action? You see, because there was Bhagat Singh was a very mature person, but then when he died, he was only 23 years old. So the mind is still developing. He was very intelligent. He was way ahead than most of us, 100 of us put together. But even then, your mind is slowly maturing. So there is rapidity in the change, or let's say in the thinking process is developing, is getting mature. Okay. You see, whatever new ideology develops, it's not like religious idea. Suppose it's not religious conversion. Okay, suppose you are person belonging to Juma religion. Okay, Juma. Just an example. Okay, imaginary example, not to offend any particular religion. And what these people do, convert themselves to Tuna religion. Okay, what happens now? This is one day you are Juma, next day you are Tuna. It doesn't work like that way in ideology. You first slowly converting, you understand the whole thing. Okay, and you see, Bhagat Singh had one more dilemma with him, and that was, where would the masses for fighting come from? That was one of his questions. Number two, patience and political work was too slow and akin to the Congress style of working. So they did not like the Congress style of working. That was another thing. Number three is, they resorted to propaganda by deed. Okay, they wanted to not just talk. They wanted action, okay, and to recruit initial mass by heroic dramatic action and militant propaganda before the courts. For this, they also had to do some heroic action, because it is because of these things that they had to resort to the heroic action. Their philosophy had changed, and to ultimately, which of course changed to that of non-violence only. The word revolution, it was expanded by him, Bhagat Singh talks about in his book also, Why I Am an Atheist, and few other books, that revolution does not mean the violent revolution, the militant revolution, okay, and the objective of the revolution, it was not actually violence, it was only national liberation. This is what Bhagat Singh is talking about. And his last message, which was given on 3rd March 1931, he said that struggle in India would continue as long as a handful of exploiters go on exploiting the labor of common people for their own ends. It matters little whether these exploiters are purely British, capitalist, or British and Indians in alliance, or even purely Indians. कोई भी करे, अंग्रेज करें, हम करें, इकट्ठे मिलके करें, जब तक एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हो रही है तब तक हमारी रेवोल्यूशन कंटिन्यू रहेगी. आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. यू कैन एक्चुअली यूज these words in your essay or wherever, that Bhagat Singh's revolution is still going on. Is it still on? So you will need to understand this idea of Bhagat Singh's revolution. Please understand, Bhagat Singh was a very secular person, and in fact, to the extent that when Lalaji, this is almost his guru, Lala Lajpat Rai ji, when he turned somewhat communal, you remember that idea, responsivist, non-responsivist thing I explained you earlier. So this person, he didn't support him in that cause, okay, even though he was not very critical or not using harsh words against him. Bhagat Singh also saw the importance of freeing people from the mental bondage of religion, okay. According to Bhagat Singh, it was the mental bondage of religion, isn't it? It's for you to think, that religion really frees you or it binds you. The kind of interpretation of religion that is happening, आप ऐसे ही करेंगे, आप ऐसे ही दिखेंगे, तभी आप हिंदू हैं, सिख हैं, मुस्लिम हैं, okay. And अगर आप ऐसे कपड़े पहनेंगे, only then you are this. How is it possible? Is religion a mental bondage? अगर आप व्रत रखेंगे तभी ऐसा हो पाएगा. If you keep the fast, only then you will be a pure person of this particular religion. So think over it, okay. So, and that is why he explains the whole idea. He says the biggest sin a man can commit, the biggest wrong thing humanity can commit is take the name of God. This is what Bhagat Singh had to say. Why? Because there is no logic in it. It doesn't happen. Things happen by action. You see, everyone, right, for all the logical people or the great people of the world have talked similar thing. For example, Swami Vivekananda was there, okay. He also talked about action only. So a lot of people talking about an action only, okay. And Bhagat Singh writes a book, Why I Am an Atheist. Please go through this book whenever you find time. You will not sleep for next 7 days at least when you read this book, okay. So this is how all it was going on. To end this lecture on revolutionary terrorism, let me just tell you that there was a death of Chandrasekhar Azad, okay. It was in a shooting encounter at public park, which is these days known as the Azad Park. Okay, this park is in Allahabad. He was shot there, and this was in February 1931. On one side, this is happening, right? Chandrasekhar Azad tried to blow the train in which Irwin was traveling, Irwin's train in 1929, but he was unsuccessful. On the other side, Surya Sen, he died, right? He was hanged, as I told you, in 1933, and hundreds of people were sent to jail in Andaman at this time, okay. If any one of you gone to Andaman, you must have seen that horrific condition of the jail over there. And then a lot of these RTs also, because RT also was not really able to get the freedom, because ultimate aim is freedom. You see, you cannot, was RT successful, revolutionary terrorism successful? If you say that the objective of revolutionary terrorism was getting freedom, just like moderate could not get freedom, the RT also could not get the freedom, okay. None of these things could get the freedom. Okay, so that way none of them is successful, but all these people think movement contributed to the final action which helps in getting the freedom movement. Even the revolt of 1857 helped in, for that matter. So a lot of RTs at this time, when the freedom could not be achieved, they turned into Marxism or socialism, those ideas. They joined the Communist Party and revolutionary socialist parties and all the other left parties, and some of them joined Gandhi and some of them joined the left wing of the Congress. And what was more happening at this time, that the British, they reacted with ferocity or gusse se or in a rage. They acted on the trade union movements, which were very active, getting active at this time, and communist movements. In fact, 31 prominent trade union and communist leaders were arrested after their trial in the Meerut conspiracy case. I've talked about this already, and I'll again be referring through this Meerut conspiracy case. I hope you remember those names. If you don't remember those names, don't worry, in the next lecture I'll help you remember those. So importance of big organizations was ultimately the limitation of the RT is realized. Okay, limitation of RT is that, as I said, importance of big organization is realized, that individual action can help only to certain extent, it cannot really lead to freedom, you need some big organization. Number two, you need to have masses with you, only then success can be there. To which Surya saying some got some masses with him, and the RT cannot politically motivate the masses, because the masses as such, they cannot really get into violence. Even today, you see the violence even that is happening in today's era, it is limited to few people who are into it. Masses do not do that. Even a single person can look heavy on 100 people. Why? Because masses, humanity is essentially non-violent. Violence is a sin. If anybody shows that he has handling 100 people together, it is not his courage. Okay, over here it is about non-violence, because non-violence takes a bigger courage. That is a different thing, because there are some great leaders who are fighting for greater causes. Sometimes it so happens all these violent people get together and they had to be dealt with violence. That is a different concept. Do not confuse with that. Okay, even in Sikhism, that thing comes sawa lakh se ek ladaun. That means with one person will fight with sawa lakh, 1.25 lakh. That's a different concept from this. Not that I'm talking about. It's not that. Okay, so no contact with masses. Right, that was their bigger problem. And still the contribution made by the RTs to the national freedom movement is huge, number one. And number two, the spread of the socialist ideas in the northern India, it's a lot of that it was owned to them. Okay, and number three is they exposed the Britishers, what they were doing. Okay, and this way the whole thing will end. Right, now in the next lecture I will be talking to you about the storm that was building up, or let's say the build up to CDM movement. Okay, the civil disobedience movement. And then in after that lecture we'll talk about the civil disobedience movement, and after that we'll talk about the leftist the trend in the Indian society that has developed over here because of these people. Okay, now before I wrap up the lecture, let me just wrap up the whole thing that has happened over year wise. As I said earlier also, I'll be talking in the terms of chronology. 1919 World War I had ended, and most of the revolutionary terrorists who were arrested, so many of them were released also. And in 1920 there was a preparation for the Montfort reforms, and there was general policy of amnesty, and a lot of people who were arrested, they were released over here. Okay, they were released. And then in 1920 to 22 there was participation of NCM, but it fell out. And then in January 1924 there was attack on Charles Teggart, by whom? Gopinath Saha, but it was attacked on day. Right, I hope you remember that. Then in October 1924 there is formation of Hindustan Republican Association, we talked about that. Then there is also Kanpur conspiracy case, we've done this also. And then in 1926, okay, 1926 there is Punjab Naujawan Sabha formed. And then in 1927 there is formation of Simon Commission. Okay, he's appointed. And there is Madras session of Congress in 1927 under M.A. Ansari as it is head. Okay, where they decide to oppose the Simon Commission. Ansari is the head. Okay, and then in 1928 Simon enters India. In February 1928 Simon comes to India, and Lalaji is killed. Okay, and what happens after that? Saunders is killed in revenge of death of Lalaji. Okay, and then in 1929 there is a bomb in the Central Legislative Assembly by Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt. Okay, and then in September 1930 September there Jatin Das, he died. That is an important thing. And then in 1931 Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, they are hung. And then after that before that actually in 1930 only, I just missed that there was Chittagong armory raid. Okay, and then in 1933 Surya Sen, he is murdered by the Britishers. And then and after this in 1933 onwards Jawaharlal Nehru becomes very active with the rise of the leftist movement. We'll be talking those in the coming lectures. And in 1934 Surya Sen is actually hanged. Okay, earlier the Surya Sen, he was arrested over here, and 34 is Surya Sen hanged. That is pretty much about this lecture, right? And before last thing, and that is, before you go, please, just a humble request to all of you, if you like this lecture, please do share it with others. Okay, share, because sharing is caring. See, I'm not charging you any money. You can do this much. If you have come this far, you've listened to all the lectures before this, at least do this much. Share it on your social media channel. Number two is do click on the like, okay? And for the people who have not subscribed yet, if you want this video and all the future videos to come right into your email box, then you can subscribe to us by clicking over here on this button, right? Thank you so much for watching this video.